All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, Wisco. Welcome back to the channel. And welcome to Timberborn. We're going to be continuing our game. I've also done a few things, Wisco, that I hope you notice. I messaged you back in the Discord. I took some of your advice on the Seri bot, which I think we see above, and some channel emotes, so hopefully those come through. Like I said before, I'm trying to do a little bit every time I stream to hopefully make the channel a little bit better of a place. But ultimately, the thing I want to do is play some Timberborn, because Timberborn is fun. So, very excited. Oh, and then the last thing I was able to do was change the audio settings a little bit. So I've separated out the audio, and the audio is permanently separated, so we can listen to the beautiful soundtrack of Timberborn the whole way through. So exciting stuff. We're going to be continuing our playthrough, so let's just dive right in. Probably should have been talking while the game was loading, but here we are. So, very excited for where we're at in this game. We just finished. We're about to start a bad tide, if I recall correctly. The thumbs up emoji seems good. Yeah, awesome. Oh yeah, let me know if the audio, how the audio is. Since I keep playing around with it, I do still worry that it might be too loud. And all of that can be adjusted as we see fit. All right, back to the game. As I was talking about, we are about to start the bad tide. The bad tide approaches in 0.0 days. Great place to start it. I think this is a 16-day bad tide. Just a bit of time, but it's not an absurd amount of time. We'll do at the moment. It might be fine. Okay, awesome. We're in a great position. We're in a great position for science. We just unlocked and built the observatory. This really will be key for a bunch of things we want to do. So I'm very excited about that. A few things that are in the back of my mind. One is finally going through and building out our metal production, and then ultimately to our bots. And that's going to be super powerful, particularly when we want to grow our population without growing our need for our core resources, water and food. So that's definitely top of mind. This village is a little bit lacking water. I know we have, we're talking about making another water pump over here. We have a water pump over here, and we have some water storage. So we're not in the best spot here. That one's a little bit halfway. But at the end of the day, we're in a pretty good spot. What else are we thinking about? There is a little bit of a build out of another area of production down here. I don't know, there's two ways I can take it. One is to make it into like a little dynamite area. The reason for that is it's going to have a lot of bad water, and I could pump bad water all the way from up here, but it's always better to pump bad water downstream so that you get to take advantage of it turning wheels. Not critically important, especially because we're not going to be pumping too much early on, but just generally worth thinking about. Another thing we're thinking about is connecting our bad water, adding wheels, and then connecting it to our main water source. And this is going to allow us to take advantage of it during bad water seasons. So it's going to be critical. A thing I've done in past playthroughs is just building out more infrastructure here. Potentially possible. But at the end of the day, the less the beavers have to walk, the more efficient they're going to be. And so that's roughly the driving premise there. Okay, and then the other thing that I've been thinking about, and Wisco, this is a little bit, so you asked the big question of like, why not bigger dams, right? And the question is, where can I build a big dam? And from that question, I've been thinking a lot about, can I build a big dam all the way over here, right? The reason I like this is we got a whole lot of natural dam on one side. We have this kind of like crevice over here, serving as a lot of natural dam over there. And so if we plug up a little bit of a gap here, maybe even down here, or ideally all the way on the edge over there, and then this is going to be a bit to plug up, but just the sheer amount of dam coverage we'll get as a result of it will make it absolutely worth it. And one of the other nice parts of that is we'll finally be able to fill this in. We'll get some greenery up there. Maybe we'll end up putting something like a forester or something up there, and we'll do that. What else are we thinking about? Another thing we're thinking about is the district crossing. So I've started mapping this out. I've put a little bit of an area that potentially will be the district crossing up here, and this will roughly be, we'll like connect it, maybe put it right there, something along those lines. And it's going to be pretty critically important. It's going to be important for a few reasons. One is, as we start to get metal blocks, we will need to pass them back this way. And now that we have a lot of food on this side, all that food doesn't get all the way over here. And so we can't quite take advantage of this. And then as we think about bots, we're going to need to start thinking about how do we get even more food in the form of either potatoes or spatter docks, because those are super efficient. How do we get those and produce a lot of biofuel? And so we'll think about those two things. There's roughly two ideas. One is if I want to do potatoes, I can do it over here. A little bit more, if I wanted to do spatter docks, I can do it here. And I will actually start thinking about that. I do think that's an interesting area. But if I end up really doing spatter docks, this is our spatter dock production. Maybe we just want to take advantage of that and go a little bit further. Another thing to think about is actually you don't need to exist anymore. So let's dive right into a few things. I did start to feel the need for more and more storage. So this is a good spot for that. Maybe I do 3. I don't really need all of that super important, but the thing I do want is I want those spatter docks and potatoes, because I want to make sure that we are getting a lot of those. And so let's make sure that they're some priority. We have higher ones over there that are critically important, and we're going to be making our way over to a few things. We can turn the water on fairly soon. Let's just make sure that all of our floodgates are on the right settings. That one's at 0. This one's on 1. This one's on 0. What are we at here? We're at 9595. You're close to the top, which is good because we finally have a little bit of extra water for when we hit the bad tide. We have a little bit to add there. So what we can do is lower this just a little bit before, we're actually gonna lower both of these a little bit just until it fills up. Oh, I do think I actually did have both of that. What we will do, I do want a little bit more water flowing over here. Make sure everything does get watered. Oh, and the thing that I was thinking about, not super urgent, but eventually I know I'm going to want a little bit, gonna want another district farmhouse put on capture. And I don't quite know the timeline for that, so we'll think about it. At the storage location like that, I like to path set one side behind. Wait, one more time. So at the storage location like that, I like to set the path one behind so you can have space for nice stairs, so you can stack more storage, if you know what I mean, where you do the 6. Yes. Okay, that is a fantastic point. Yes. So I think one of the ways to think about that is actually do that there. What we can do is think about ultimately what we want to do. I'm not quite sure where we want to go with that. What do we have the most food of? It's really always going to be potatoes or bread and cattail crackers, and so we'll probably want to do those two there. We'll think about that later. I think this is what you were saying. Just give it a little bit way, so now we can get up. We can now build vertically. There are other more sustainable ways of building vertically. I've seen like a ton of YouTube channels on it. There's only a little bit of need for that, and it's a lot more necessary in the iron board world. But thank you for that piece of advice. Okay, so without further ado, I think we're fine here. This is going to start going, and so we should be ready to get going. So let's give it a shot. And like I said, I think it's a 16-day bad tide. Let's see where our workers are. This is a pretty important one, so I don't know why you're not higher priority, honestly. You're low priority or low priority. You're okay priority. 2, 3. Yeah, you're a little bit lower than that. And that's actually right. Because you're not going to end up planting a lot. You're probably going to end up doing a lot more. We have gears. How are we doing over here? How are we doing over here? How are we doing over here? As we noticed last time, actually one of the things I want is to then let's put this all on 1. And the reason for that is we do have a lot of water over here that we don't necessarily want to drain quite soon. And we are draining a bit of it. And so I want to keep it. The circle might be a stair. I see. So I think you're suggesting path right here. Different color yellow. Okay, awesome. So this seems to be, and you know what, I'm gonna mark. Awesome. Oh, this is actually quite a bit more efficient, right? Because then what I can do, oh, what a good idea. What a good idea. Right, and then it's even, and that honestly begs the question, do I want it on that side? It's a little bit tougher on that side. But I might not even want this. I don't know. I will mark this a little bit less need. But that is a good skeleton of an idea. There's also a bit of green over here. There's an interesting question of, should I be thinking about how do I take advantage of this green? Right, and there's a few things that can happen. The thing I really need is more timber, but is this an efficient use of a lumberjack? I don't know, tough questions. You got the space to set everything. You got the space to set everything one more behind. I think you're suggesting moving this all the way down and then start it over here. Is that correct? Are you suggesting move all of this one over to the right, start this here? The only worry I have is this right here, but we can actually clean that up. We are also playing with the ladders mod, and so that might change. There's actually a way to kind of cheese this, is like we theoretically can just like build. And that is in some ways just if you want. Well, I love to do stackable storage like that, just if you want, yeah, but you can leave it, of course. Yeah, I'll definitely think about it. I worry about cheesing it like this. I know you weren't talking about this. This is actually more efficient in terms of resources than the large warehouse. You can just get 12 of these high, or what? There's 200 storage in here, and here is there's 12. So if you get 6 of these high, you're more efficient, which is yeah. Yeah, I don't like playing with mods. I was like that for a little bit. There is one particular reason I like the staircase mod, and some of the other mods. I really like the mod that tells you what your consumption is. It makes it easier to kind of plan out your little colony. And I think the example is like something like this. Building something like this with the traditional staircases is just very, like, you just have to build it so far out. And I like that it's resource intensive. I actually don't like how unresource intensive the ladder is. It would be great if the ladder was like a metal block. That would be my ideal version of it, because I want it to be more expensive than the cheaper things. But on the other hand, I just don't want to have to end up designing so many things that I think are just a little bit less, I don't know about efficient, but like less toilsome to make. Probably the closer to the thought. We also have that's an interesting thing I like about this in particular. I like that I can build a farmer here, and it gets through a lot of the farming area that I just irrigated. Yeah, I don't know if I want this quite yet, but it's worth thinking about because I'm going to need more potatoes, more carrots, more everything. It's really, once we start getting to bots. All right, let's go back to playing the game. Let's come in here. This, yeah, we can see it flooded a little bit, but ultimately that's fine. How are we doing on power? A great amount of power. There's a few things I'm thinking about doing over here. One is just having the paper mill, because we're going to be producing a lot of wood over here. Another one is the wood workshop, because it's right next to the lumber yard. Another one is gears, if we just need more gears. Do we need more gears? That's a good question. Okay, we really are starting to get a few things. So let's finish that up to make sure we're in a good place for a bunch of these. And let's start making sure that we're chopping. We're chopping because I need all of this to be done fairly quickly. Okay. We're now able to start thinking about, we don't want to platform across. Ultimately, I do want to build this path out probably all the way over here. Probably care about that a little bit less. What I really care about when I'm coming over here is, where are we at? One of the things I was saying at the end of last time is how I prefer the 4-way power shacks, just because they make it less likely that I'm going to have to come through and fix something later. It's a little bit of an inefficiency that I'm more than okay paying for. It's a question. Do I want to have that? Do I want to spend the time getting planks in there? Maybe. I don't know. Let's make sure there are nothing to do in range. Alright, we finally finished you. Somewhat very important to our game. No, that's gonna be the straightest path. Two things I'm thinking about. One is how quickly can I get up here? The other is, do I need to get up there soon? Probably do. I'm also talking about okay, great. We have that with some water coming through. Okay, where are we at? Oh, and we should start thinking about. I'm going to build this metal scaffolding first here, because one thing I definitely want to do is clean up this avenue. I want this street to go all the way down, and that's simply because I don't want these beavers having to go all the way here, which would be very inefficient, and even going down here in order to come back up. Right, and so if I create you there, hopefully you're going to start coming here. You're probably going to start with this one. Ideally, honestly, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's going to be a little bit inefficient on both ends. Then we can get some of you. And maybe we're finally going to do the district crossing. We have a lot of planks. This isn't that much of a burden on either of them. We're going to be able to get up there pretty quickly. It's a little unimportant. You aren't super necessary. There we go. Oh, these all died because the water is too high. Yeah, that was probably a mistake. Because now, as this water drops to level, there will be more places to irrigate. Maybe I can even save this tree. Let's see. Let's see if we can save it. I don't think so, but maybe we can. That does beg a question. This tower over here, or this plateau, this mesa, is 3 high. This one up here is 2 and then 1 high. One thing I could do is bring it up to 3 high, and then I'd be able to get even more storage. I'd be able to get it up to 3 high here, 3 high here, and get a 3 high dam. Really good spot to be. The question is that a little bit more important than here? I need to demolish that. Okay, starting to grab you. Let's make sure. Yeah, we lost that. We have a bit more in terms of planks. It's possible that we'd make our way over here. Possible we would make our way over here. Just a little bit of logs. What I would eventually want to do is plug this gap right here so that the bad water source stops flowing this way. Right now it's all bad water here because it's got both of these things. But eventually we really can be thinking about this as just a good water dam. Another thing to think about is maybe I have our dynamite right over here. We're gonna have a bad water source. Eventually this can be the one that gets capped off. We can flow water here. Worth thinking about, so I'm going to be slowly mapping it out, but ultimately it's not quite clear what I want. That's a good amount. I've started to see other people, they narrow the dam, or they narrow the river in order to get more speed on their water wheels. Be very curious what the trade-offs there are. I'm not quite sure what they are, but you know what? Do I need that here? Maybe. I do actually want that to be a little bit more efficient because there's a bunch of planks there. Let's make that lower. How are we? Oh, we have 4 of you. I didn't remember that. Sounds like an old vestige of another day. 4. We really do need the planks. Let's turn off that a little bit more. Oh, we just finished this. Some bad water here. I hope that this isn't enough to hurt my waters. You will get more power. I assume you're talking about this here, right? So if I route more water, say I just do that, is this more power than the one wheel in between it? I would be a little bit surprised, but that's certainly possible. Let me just demolish that. Because the water is going to go through faster. But at the end of the day, that water is going through and it's going to hit a different water wheel, right? This is 3 water wheels going 2/3 the speed, right? I can route, I have 4 tiles, or I have 6 tiles, and I can narrow it down to 4 tiles, right? And so they should be going a 33% faster, but for 1/3 the amount of water wheels. It might actually be more efficient to build the blocker, but then my worry is sort of, the more I block the river, the more chances it is of overflowing. And here is actually a place where I don't think I'm right. I think I'm actually wrong on the general idea, but I don't quite know what the right way to go is. So I've talked about the difficulty of where do I place this here. And I don't actually know where that's going to go. Because I do know one thing I will want to do. One thing I want to do is I want to start building out. You know, I guess I do want to. Are any of these? No, neither of these are. But if I do a storage for, in fact, this is not the best spot, but let's do it anyway. And then I built that there. Also not a great spot. But then if I have you, your most efficient path to getting there will be through that stairs. So I wonder if I can curate the getting of steel a little bit better. You're going to go for, it looks like you're getting that first, but you're eventually going to be grabbing these two, which is not directly in the way. Oh well, we have quite a bit of all of our resources. So let's start thinking about where we go from here. A thing I would love is for all of these to be the various parts of the beaver golem. I don't know how well that's going to work out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build you roughly like here. You can even go there. It's an interesting spot because this can't do that. We can do this. But I'm more likely to kind of build that there. I think so. I think that's where it's going to go. Let me mark all of this as low priority for now. And I do eventually want to connect that. Dude, how are we on for power? We just don't have the needs for power at the moment. Yes, so as we've dropped the water here, it looks like it's receded, and we're now able to plant a larger area. Which means we really should turn this back on. And honestly, we're getting to the point where a monument, the farmer monument, is starting to be possible. Is it the best thing that we can do? Hard to say. Very hard to say. How are we doing for power over here? We're at supply, which is great. So all of these things are at 100%. Still would be better if we were able to build everything. Okay, so this is almost done. Starting to get to building these things. I'm actually going to lower you a little bit because you're much more important. And once we can get that. I wonder if I want a pathway below that. On some level, I do, because I don't want them walking around for everything. On another level, how often are they going to be walking through here? Hard to say. Hard to say. But what that would look like then is honestly a potentially better, more use of resources right over here. So let's think about that. Right, because if I do that, let's clean all of that up. Nothing in there has been built. If I can then get a pathway going potentially like this, what I can think about is a little bit of storage for whatever right there. We move down one. Down. I don't know if that was the right one. Oh, you've already moved down at that point. Well, hold on. Can you go there? No, you can't go there. Can you go? You could probably go there, can't you? Yeah, you can go there. That might be out of the way, but for now, it's fine. Clean this up just a tiny bit. Lots of like micro cleaning up happening right here. Oh. Let's hope I'm not blocking that, right? That goes up there. That should be fine. That should be fine. We can do a little bit more storage there. And then we get power right there. It's an interesting question of should I already be thinking about large windmills? Am I spending too much time filling this in with smaller windmills? How are we doing on planks? That's an interesting part of this question. Planks are going to be going here. I don't know. Let's first build this. Let's build everything else around it, right? We know we have a bunch of these things being built no matter what. This is actually going to have to be a low priority. And then when we get through that, we really can ask how many windmills do we have? Yeah, let's go. As much. There's no large pile anywhere here, so I'm gonna get one. It's a tough spot to be perfect about. So do I want to be worried about being perfect? Right, where can I put a storage? That's tough, that's tough. This is really one of the only ones. This is another one. Yeah, it's gonna be that. So let's grab that. How are we doing? We're okay on planks. So starting to fill this in. Awesome. We have also talked about doing this. And the idea here is that all of this bad water can be turned into good water, and then this bad water will stop affecting us if we just get the good water to go in that way. So definitely worth thinking about. You're not productive enough. That's not surprising, right? There's just not enough things. You're just very far away from the colony at large. General question, should we be thinking about okay, it can be paused. But that does mean we need a new lumberjack flag right here. Drop you right there. Where would your power wheel go? What does this power wheel situation start to look like? Really starts to look like a little bit of askew power wheels. It's tough to fit more than one here. Tough to fit more than one. Could theoretically dam out a little bit over there. If we grab that, we can grab this. But that seems as difficult as damming out this, right? Is that right? That does seem right. Do I want that anytime soon? The reason I would want it is because it helps me build large power wheels, which we're near. We have the science for. We have a bunch of gears for. Do we have the... Nope. Here we're starting to let good be the enemy of great. We can make this upgrade later. And in fact, in that world, I want to spend as little time building these. So let's swap those over for the more efficient use ones. How's this power wheel coming together here? Decent amount. Let's make sure there really is wood for everything. Right, and so I can drop down to 2 beavers and 4 haulers. How are we doing for workers? Oh, wow. Every building now has workers. In fact, this one has. You don't need this many. You just don't need this many. Grab 2. It's another world where I actually build my paper mill over here. And the benefit of that is it's much closer to some of our most recent building. It's near all of our things. Maybe we do that. Ooh, SiriBot. Coming in with the ban. Good stuff. And shout out to Wisco for their recommendation. Alright, how are we doing? 11 days. How are we doing on power? We're starting to get in. Yes, this is working out great. What are we building? We're getting there in terms of I want to connect this power. We don't really need it right now, but just generally it is worth connecting. So let's grab that. Well, let's prioritize that. Then we can lower that. And then really I want to start thinking about these. Honestly, if I'm getting up there with gears on this side, which I am, there's 2 really good positions to be in. One is capping this off. Bad water source dome, 2k science, 200 gears, 100 planks. Okay, regardless, we need to start thinking about this. Let's place it down. Honestly, that's probably more important. Feels like it's gonna block this off, but whatever. What's an important one? Gears for now, honestly. Oh. How are we doing? "11 days. This is starting to come together. We really are building this. Let's make sure this gets done first. The reason for that is I think they can now build diagonal. That might be like a new change, but I'm just so used to them not being able to build diagonal. Probably should have left something for them to connect to. Yeah, I'm gonna destroy this real quick. Just so. Because it's valuable to me that someone eventually comes in and builds. And if I do want this power, I can connect to it right there. Okay, you're a little bit more productive. Wheat is coming up. How are we doing on things like wheat? Wheat, bread. We don't need nearly as much water. Cattail crackers are my default to just put somewhere because we can get so many cattail crackers. Just pump that up. How are we doing on planks here? We have a lot of planks. We have a lot of gears. Starting to get connected. We are so close to connecting our entire power system. Love it. I think we can do it today. Supply and demand. This is the problem, right? Everything's working at roughly 50%. And so it'd be nice to just finish you up real quick. Mark that all super important. Then grab you. And then we can honestly grab all of these. You are more than enough. You don't need to finish. Red. Let's go. Let's grab this. So close. There we go. Supply is 580. Demand is a little bit lower. We're going to do a few things. So think about those too. You're not going to finish everything in time. And so it's not really useful to think about you. UK science. Oh, and we finally built this. Nice. We're starting to build metal blocks. We're in a good spot. Wow, this is going to feel quick, isn't it? The next question is, where do we go from here? Do we want the refinery over here? Beaver is injured. It's going to be over here. We're going to have a lot of injured beavers over here. We were already talking about it. I want to make sure we just have more than enough of those. How are we doing for power? 484. That's not quite where I wanted it to be. Interesting. Make sure this gets finished real quick. There's a little bit of power coming in. How are we? Okay. 370 science demand, or power demand. Okay, start building vertically there. I also want to make sure all of this wood gets collected. Not critically important. But we will begin thinking about where to go from there. Yeah, we can get like a big bowl here. The easiest way to cut this off will probably be like here. Honestly, just cut this here. Yeah. And then the water goes around. And that also begs the question of what are we going to do over here? We need to get rid of these. We've talked about either going up here, then around. And that's actually probably going to be the best. Probably think about the next. I don't want to get distracted from bots. Bots are so important for us. How are we doing for productivities? Okay. You're critically important. You're important. Let's make sure that's coming there. Oh, Seribot did some work. Yes, I was saying good job, Seribot, and thank you for the recommendation. Okay, you're gonna grill. You know what? There's a world where I have bigger logs or bigger I have your stream open in the background. I play WoW in the meantime. Nice. I've actually never quite got into World of Warcraft, but I know quite a few people that were into it, so. And I definitely sympathize with, so sorry if I missed something. No worries at all. I appreciate the company of just being here. I relate a lot to playing one video game and watching another. So it's also something funny. If you have something important, you have to write me on Discord. Will do. How are we doing? I want to clean this up a bit. Get some clean lines right here. There we go. We're starting to get a decent amount of planks again. Getting a decent amount of science. Starting to think, where do we go from here? We talked about joining these two colonies. Talked about not getting distracted from... There's this open question. Join the colonies, then build a refinery here is somewhat, I think, the best answer. And the reason we want a refinery, particularly over here, because this has really good access to spatter docks. So, I'll lower you priority a little bit. Grab that a little bit. All right. Should we think about dynamite? We really shouldn't. No beavers available. Yeah, you're pretty important to be building. Number of beaver here is pretty good. 17. I guess. Damn, this got to 180. I wasn't really expecting that. Cool. I guess you need to actually export you. You don't need to be imported. Well, maybe. Maybe I start this climb up. No. No distractions. We are getting... We can also start thinking about, I'm going to do a few things. I want to build a way for us to navigate all of this water away from where it's currently going. So we'll bring it a little bit off so that water can flow underneath. Right, we're going to want water to flow away. We start thinking about sluices. There we go. Like that. Oh no, I guess it is going to be a sluice right up against this. And then from there, it'll take it there. Well, we could even think about it going like that. This will allow us to take advantage. I do worry about having no separation between these two. Like, this might lead to bad water. filling in all of it. Although I'll probably want to just dynamite that through. Do I want to be rushing dynamite? Probably not. Probably thinking is another one of you right here. No, not. All right, we're going to be doing district management. We always want to make sure we have a bunch of things available for the district management, or a bunch of storage near the district management. This helps make sure that things are getting there efficiently. All right, and that should be a decent amount. In fact, I'll probably want similarly, right, like I'll want 1, 2. Probably want to grow it higher at some point. Cool. How are we doing in terms of? I want more planks near there, so I'm really just going to build, well, prioritize you. Okay, how are we doing? Ran out of so many things. I just keep forgetting to turn these things back on. A higher population will ultimately solve that problem. So I'm not super worried, but okay, you're starting to get there, which is good for a bunch of things. I want to make sure I'm not building that ultimately. So I'm going to make that. Oh, this is also terrible. Oh, you're building that though. Great thing to be building. Globally, we're at 145 gears, which is a lot. Good place to be. Great place to be. Oh, and we have started thinking about this. We're getting close. We are getting close to finally connecting the two districts. They're not connected, so we can't start thinking about what ultimately they will connect. But we do know that ultimately we probably do want this here. And the reason is just simply this is going to have spatter docks. And spatter docks are a really efficient way of generating biofuel. I really do want one more. I really long-term. Nice. These are really starting to finish up. And that's great. Oh. You shouldn't be walking around. You've become more efficient. That's great. One thing I was thinking about is Bots Part Factory right here. The only concern I have is, does this connect on the front? Pretty important concern. No, it doesn't. I think it connects through the top. I think it connects on the back. Both of those would work. And in many ways, I do want like I could do. I'm gonna delete that. Add stairs, just so I can clean this up. Generally an important thing. And that should connect everything. That does mean I'll switch those out a bit. I'll switch them out for something that's a little bit more in line. We're gonna need that though. What is it take? Bot chases is the only thing I can't build at the moment. I'm gonna start with bot limbs. There we go. Made it from both sides. Should be quick. Are you going to be that? You're probably going to be planks then. Probably going to be you coming in. Right? Then what else are we starting to think? We need to think bread coming in, cattail crackers coming in, bread going out, cattail crackers going out, right? What else? Spatterdocks going out. Spatterdocks coming in. Can't see anything immediately important. I do have cattail crackers, right? Yeah. Let's make you the spatterdocks then. You're just going to be nothing. So we have two more on this side that we don't know about. And we don't know what you are. Okay. And one thing that's worth thinking about is redirecting this out. It's going to take a little bit of work. Probably going to take dynamite. So I'll think about that in just a little bit. But we are getting close to the end of our bad tide. Once that gets finished up, we should start thinking about you. Is it going to be the best way? Best thing to do here? I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure, but it's going to be a thing to do. Go down there. Those lines are not super perfect, so we are going to just have whatever line we have and take it from there. Okay, this just finished up. We're okay on water. Oh. Whatever. I think we're gonna be fine on water. Let's make sure this got pumped. Yeah, this is now pumped. Okay. Oof, you don't need that many. You also don't need that. Yikes. Keeping like not enough beavers in this district. But let's talk about district distribution. Import always for District 2. No, import if needed. Biofuel, import if needed. Berries, import if needed. Bread, for District 2, you're going to be producing it. You're never going to take it. You're never getting carrots. Import if needed. Let's just make it import if needed. Cattail crackers, import if needed. All of it is going to be import if needed. What things are you always going to be importing? Everything's going to be import if needed. Unless it's metal blocks. Metal blocks we're always going to be importing. That's probably the only thing that I can think about. Metal blocks and logs. Kind of the big ones. Export thresholds. We want high export thresholds for things that we can produce elsewhere. Right? So high export threshold on planks. Now, well, it's at least just more than we currently have. Export threshold on gears. We're never exporting these. Well, something like that. Logs, we want a little bit more. Water. Actually, this district needs a decent amount of water, so you're not going to be exporting anything that will be critical. Anything else? We're never going to import you. We're never going to import you. This is import if needed. Do not import, do not import. Well, import if needed. Don't import, don't import, don't import. Don't import, don't import. These are all going to really be import always. Except for that, import if needed. Berries. How are we thinking about berries? No, none of that matters. Great. District 4. District 4, what are you going to be? You're never going to import that. Don't care. You're always going to import a bunch of food. You're going to have a high export threshold on the 2 foods you do make. Import always. You're going to have a non-zero import threshold. You're going to have non-zero export water threshold. Decent export water. Import it as needed. Import always, yeah. And then you're going to have something of an export threshold. Import always. Import always on any of the bot parts. Import always on that. You're going to be a high import threshold on that. You're going to import as needed. You're going to have a decent import threshold on gears. Just don't care too much about it. You're not going to be exporting potatoes. Okay. Let's make sure these get all built. I don't know if you need to exist. Oh, we're getting there. In fact, what we can do. Do we have anything in here? We finally have metal blocks. That's gonna be great. It's not the best idea to be importing biofuel. Also not the worst idea. You know what? Let's pause these for a second. I need to build everything. And right now, the food... Well, hold on. You do have enough... Yeah, you're getting up there in food. No. Do I want this? I might want this. It's a tough one. You're probably bread. And in that world, I probably want to pause you for a bit. Make sure all of these things... You're running through that to build that. That's hilarious. Okay. We love it. Now, you guys can be very efficient. Yeah, we're fine on water here. Let's make sure those get built first. That. Okay. Interesting. We probably want to just get you a little bit. Okay. Are you still building wheat? There's no way. You're building cattail. You just don't have a lot of wheat. There's a lot of carrot globally. I know what that means. I'm gonna not build you there. Oh, in fact, I would also want to make sure you don't get built. Who's got more carrots? You have a decent amount of carrots. Getting up there both potatoes. Cattail crackers. How is the efficiency of the cattail crackers? 40%. Terrible. Very. Quite bad. Oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah, cattail flowers. Cattail crackers. Exploit. Logs import. Where are we at? How are we doing? How are we doing? Doing pretty good, actually. We're gonna be built soon. Oh. One of the more important ones is actually this one. And you are going to be all three of them, honestly. You're going to go bam, bam, bam. Okay. Good water is back. We just finished the end of this tide. Okay. You can start thinking about cleaning you up a little bit. Flick this up just a tiny bit so that it slows down the water and this starts accumulating. So we'll see that kind of accumulate slowly but surely. We'll do that a little bit here too. We want to do that, accumulate there. And this we want to fill all the way up. It's going to start pushing all of that all the way around. Close, 12. That'd be great. Housing. Am I confident that I can do more housing here? No, not really. It's probably worth it because I need more, but we'll start filling up slowly but surely. Oh, we're at 19 day. Well, we have a decent beaver population at that point. It's not really worth it to not. I think that's worth thinking about is rebuilding all of this. Yeah, went back to a fairly important job. Okay, we're starting to get to a better place on some of our, actually don't want this there. Might even want to just abandon that because I do want a little bit more storage, and here's a good spot for some storage. Okay, what else are we thinking? Nice, this is built. I'm gonna leave some space. I honestly should have done this sooner. $400 science points. Honestly, yes, I do want to start taking advantage of this. I'm going to smooth that out a little bit. All right, we're starting to climb the resource ladder. We are getting to quite a few things. This one's starting to get a lot more food. Probably want to pause you. How are we doing for wood here? Decent amount of wood. Do we need this much? This many metal blocks? Probably not. I'm gonna pause you for a bit. And even when we do, yeah, we are starting to get to the point where this is important. We need a little bit more beavers here. Almost done. Almost done. We got 3. In fact, let's prioritize you. One more. Let's go. There we go. I really don't need you anymore. Now you see that is what that was all for. That was all for. Just getting a little bit more. Here's planks. You're close. We are close to being able to build you. And so in that world, maybe we should just build you. We don't need nearly that many. There's one not working. Oh, do we have a lot of gears here? We have a lot of gears here. There's 2 options, one of which is use it for something like paper mill. The other option is to pause this and start using this on this. No. Get that first. And we are. We're gonna start doing that. We are going to need a bunch of biofuel in a bunch of areas. That's one. But honestly, this is another good question whether or not. Because we're really getting there in biofuel. How many do you have? You can get a third builder. Oh, there's a bunch of things you want to be doing, huh? Okay, fine. We definitely want to be doing this. Definitely number one. Oh, wow. Yeah, this it just like flows over. That's an important one. Then that, then that. Day 3. We have quite a few more days. Filling up a little bit. Oh my god, we have not filled. Well, no, we have filled up a decent amount. The thing I always do is stop the synchronization, go to 0.9. Oh, how much water do you have over here? I always forget to turn these back on at the start. You are there, 110. What do we got, 72? Not getting our demand quite yet, but I do need to start filling this up. Okay, it's a fine list. You're not as important. In fact, because we have a bunch of biofuel, let's start building that into there. Let's make sure these are all synchronized. Right, so 2.8. A good spot to be. I'm gonna want to grab that soon, but not quite yet. Where are all these beavers coming down here? Oh, they're building, aren't they? Nice. And then in that world, once they're done building, Yeah, that is where we want to go. And then what I'll just end up doing is I will climb down, and then I'll have a floodgate here. It's set to like 9. It's gonna take finishing this up. So it's gonna be biofuel. Grilled potatoes are done. Grilled spatter ducks are just not enough of them. You're not happening fast enough. Four beavers. Oof. Okay, wow, you're almost done. Once this gets finished, that'll be a good position. We want to do this first now. Then we're going to prioritize all of these. There we go. See, all of this gets cleaning up. Just overflows right there. Honestly, I've talked about that. Probably want to do that. Just to make sure that that is in fact flowing over. I've talked about another bad tide. Oh boy. Interesting. We were good on a lot of our consumption. Let's just make sure we're even perfect. Spend the last few days filling up on everything. Making sure we have good consumption. Just so that when we do hit that bad water, we end up just so that when we end up with that bad water, we're in a good spot. Okay. Well, I'm glad I did this, because that would have sucked to, Oh, and again, you're no longer important. Well, let's finish you up. What would be nice is building another level off of you, but I just don't see it. Don't see it happening in 2 days. Okay, we've boosted the productivity of cattail producing. That's good. How are we doing on spider docks? We have 2 of you here. We're gonna want to build this soon. I want to make sure that gets done. What is our big priorities? Oh, it's going to be this one. And we do have the metal blocks. We have most of the metal blocks. I wonder if that's going to work out. Okay, and the first one of these is coming online. That's great. That really is awesome. Honestly, bot chases, bot heads. Bot limbs. What are we building here? Maybe I'll think about prioritizing you. Probably not. Maybe though. You're not near... Oh, this is challenging, because I do want you to fill up. Make sure that gets built real quick. That should be fine. Should be quick enough to build. How many do we have here? We have 2. How are we on all things? We really just lack planks. Planks is an interesting one. A lot of things are being consumed in water. I don't want to turn down gear consumption, but you will be pretty quick. Just make sure that we have enough planks. I feel like there should be more beavers in this town. 4 children. Globally, we only have 1 bed. Alright, let's send the kids away. Nice, and now we're at 2 missing jobs, which is good. Honestly, you can be a low tier. I do think the more important one's going to be here. Okay, we can clean this up a little bit because we see a little bit better the lines that are going to be forming. Oh, I could have gone for the wood workshop without metal blocks. Probably should have rushed that then. Probably would have changed how I played. Hopefully I can finish more than just one. I think we're starting to build the second one at this point. Let's go to 20 hours, just so I have more than enough time to fill that up. I am impressed. Great beavering. What's up, 9 Iron Ron? How's it going? Welcome to the channel. Hope you are having a great day. We are a little bit early in the game. We're starting to get we're close to getting bots online, which is really kind of the big thing that we've been striving for at this point. Hopefully we can get them on soon. But welcome to the channel. Timberborn is one of my favorite games to play, and I'm excited to share that with whoever else wants to play the game. So, on that note, if you have any thoughts or questions, definitely let me know. Right now this game is at 2x consumption, and we're starting to get to some extreme bad tides and dry seasons. The dry season would have been 32 days. The bad tide I think is either going to be, I think it's going to be a 20-day bad tide. A little bit intense. So that's sort of where we're at. Injuries is 2x injuries, so that's why we see some pretty strong injuries coming in. Let me also see. We're playing with some mods, so I might explain some of the things you're seeing here. We want it like that. It's an interesting thought. I don't know if we want that, because we are about to get beaver. We're gonna need more planks. We're just gonna need more planks. So, on that note, we do have a lot globally. Migrate population. Export threshold. Let's lower that a little bit. Import as needed. Awesome. Hopefully we start importing planks from our other village. That'll be good. I also want to think about getting a few things online. One of them is this wood workshop. Now we really need a few other things there. We just need to get our bots. So I don't want anything to come in the way of bots. Alright, we're almost done with all of these. Nice. This is close. Hopefully this bot doesn't tire, or this beaver doesn't tire themselves out. Nice, and built. Great. Lower that. That can fill up. I definitely want to start thinking about the next set of things. We're just not finishing this up. I do want to do this. It'll be very useful for a few reasons, one of which is we'll be able to naturally lower this without much of a pain. But the thing I don't want to do. Okay, how are we doing on water? We're getting there. 9 days to fill it up here. 7 days. Yeah, we're not going to fill it up anytime soon. That is one of the challenges of 2x water consumption. Honestly, that's it. Gonna be right there. Bum, bum, bum. Well, I don't know if we're gonna have the planks, the gears. We have the gears. Logs are gonna be hard to get to buy very soon. Okay. Let's just clear these out. Where are logs going to come from? There's going to be a little bit coming from here. All right. Looks like we're near our limit here. Let's cap it off. Let's push that down. All right, we're starting to be, we're at the limit. All right. Start flooding you. We're gonna need to be just making a lot more logs. So well, let's leave this here, because over here what we might do, we're talking about our we have 2 spots for our cattail crackers. I'm surprised the cattail crackers are really taking this long. Do we have more spatter docks? Yes, let's get spatter docks up and running. Let's get wheat. Oh well, we don't need any of it. Let's get bread running. Road spatter docks. Wheat. Okay. This is almost up. It's getting there in terms of cost. $20-day bad tide. All right, let's see where this goes. All right, this is filled. Let's make sure that's paused. We have a little bit more. Oh boy, this isn't good. Yeah. That's all flooded. Let's pause that just a tiny bit. Let it adjust. Oh boy, not loving it. Not loving it at all. The equilibrium point is fine, but the time before that is a little bit intense. Okay. How are we doing here? Hopefully this doesn't kill everything, but probably will. Got a decent amount of water. Nice. This will take care of itself fairly quickly. In that world, we're building 2 of these. Get some planks here. That would have helped build this a lot faster. In fact, alright. Side over here has a bit more wood to work with. It's pretty important. Alrighty, 2 beavers. Now we're starting to produce bot limbs. Bot limbs require a lot of gears, so that's actually a decent ratio for us. This requires a lot of planks. It's not a great ratio for us. Would it be better if we were bot heads? Honestly, probably. We're at 54%. Takes about 18 hours. So let's not abandon progress just yet, but definitely going to be thinking about. Our injured beaver count is going high. There we go. Well, not there we go. This is what I was expecting. A lot more dead grassland. Let's lower this down to 1. Honestly, anywhere there's wood, I want to be claiming it at this point. Let's make sure we're... Import as needed. What's your export threshold? Let's start thinking about how do we get more wood here. Your solution to that. Your solution to that. Okay. Well, I just heard an alarm that's telling me that I need to stop real soon. This might be a good place to stop. Globally, we just started producing bread. I need to prioritize that. It just produces a ton of resources that are super important for me. We have a lot of food. We have a lot of water. We can pause this guy. Good thing about pausing this guy, but maybe not. Or maybe we move him a little bit closer to where water is being consumed. I think that was the purpose of that, right? We don't want beavers running across the map in order to be useful. Well, let's do something then. Yes, okay, so as soon as this beaver finishes this up, which is going to be fairly soon. Okay. You're going to switch over to bot heads. It's going to ease a little bit my need for planks. Increase my need for other things, but I do need a second one. Okay, these are drying, not dead. In hindsight, I wish I built a little patch here for always taking advantage of wet water. Tough spot to be. How are we doing here? Yeah, that's roughly what I want. I want auto closed above downstream depth. And then eventually I want to start thinking about how do I make this bigger. Probably go like that. That's, you're too, wait, hold on. It's honestly pretty good, because I do forget that I should have blocked you from crossing. I suspect, well, yeah, I think I won. that. Okay. We're at a decent amount of planks, a decent amount of wood. We're slowly starting to come down on all of those, though. There is a world where I'm migrating over, getting all of this, getting some of this. All of it is like in and of itself expensive. So let's make sure we have all of the wood that we can. Oh, look at that. I didn't even realize how cool that was. It's gonna be a pain to get all of that and collect it. This right here, it's like a little court, like entrance. Gosh, not enough wood there. Two of you. Really don't need you at the moment. We're getting to a decent amount of metal blocks. That's pretty good. That would help with building this, which would have helped with irrigating this and irrigating everything. I don't know if this is the game we do it, but we definitely need to start thinking about it. And there is a world where we do start thinking about it, first in terms of platforms, right? Because if we make our way over and we just start thinking about the platforms first, before we think about the logs. We'll end up with a lot more being done. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Okay. Where are we at? Even you are not generating enough wood, planks, and things like that. I suspect... Hold on. You're important. You are fairly important. I suspect I just don't need a lot of you. Looks like you're being done. Yeah. Probably do want to keep that relative priority, but everything after that isn't super important. Then what do I want to be thinking about? I do want to be thinking about this. You're pretty important. Just simply because we have a lot of your gears. I'm going to lower that. Okay, well, on that note, I am